Welcome back. Now, it's 111 days until we all vote here on Election Day, and Trump may have squandered one very important day. And that's the way, really from this point on, when we go to the election, each day is a news cycle. Whoever wins the news cycle, it matters, okay? And in the conventions, you have 4 days where you pick who talks, you pick what they say, you pick how they say it, and you have the coronation and the balloon drop at the end. It's really hard. You got to try to screw this up. But yesterday was not a good first day for the convention. So instead of basking in the nomination, everybody's talking about whether his wife Melania plagiarized the speech that Michelle Obama that is, gave at the '08 convention. And again, if you didn't hear it, take a listen yourself here and tell me that this is just a figment of the media's imagination.
You work hard for what you want in life.
That you work hard for what you want in life.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
And trust me, that's just an hors d'oeuvre. There's even more when you listen to this speech. Amazingly, though, the Trump campaign says she didn't lift anything. She wrote it herself, they claim, and there's no connection whatsoever to what First Lady Obama had to say in her speech in '08. But again, that's the Trump campaign. Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus saying Melania's speechwriter ought to be fired. And tell me if that sounds like a familiar phrase from her husband. Some are also saying it's odd that Melania's speech didn't end last night. Lieutenant, meaning the order of it, why she wasn't closing the night. You have Lieutenant General Flynn, who followed her, and it felt, I don't know, at least to most people I spoke to, somewhat anticlimactic and even haphazard. And that's not the only thing that happened. In the middle of the convention, in the 7 o'clock hour, I believe it was, Trump called into the O'Reilly factor on Fox News. Now remember, his own convention's being broadcast. Okay, you may say that's not so unusual, Rich, it's not prime time. But the trouble is, he interrupted Fox's own network coverage of a speech by a grieving mother who was talking about her son who had died in Benghazi. Now, do you think it's that nobody can stop the candidate, he's going to do whatever he wants, or that nobody's in charge to say, that's an unforced error? Put the phone down. Don't call. Let's not step on our own lead here. Let's do it at X time, either early in the evening or maybe later in the evening or whatever. But the optics just look terrible.
Well, I don't think it's only the optics. I think, you know, honestly, politics and government requires some degree of experience in the worlds in which you're operating. And for someone who has never run for elected office before, now he's running a convention, these are the mistakes that ought not to be made. You should have experienced people. That's part one. Part two is, to me, and I've said this before about Donald Trump, there are certain things that are just personally offensive as a human being. Take politics out of it. A person who is talking about a son who died at your convention, that is completely undignified, regardless of whatever politics you have, to interrupt that for your own self-promotion. That is the kind of thing that, to me, really sticks in my craw about him as a person. What kind of person does that to someone who's grieving and speaking, and someone who's blaming, you know, my candidate? But that's not the point. You don't do that. It's a sign of incompetence, lack of professionalism, as you said, and frankly, lack of experience with running a convention, which is what people who run for high office know how to do, and hire people who know how to do it.
You know, part of his appeal, Dom, and you've known him a long time over the years and have dealt with him, is you don't have to guess where he stands. You know, that,
no, you don't.
You know where you stand with him personally, and you know he'll give you a straight answer. And I think that helped him a lot in a primary where you had at one point 16 candidates in the field. But with a guy whose famous catchphrase is, "You're fired" from The Apprentice, he seemed, I don't know if weak's the right word, but certainly not assertive in how he handled the story today that came out about his wife. Didn't give any answers on it, sent a tweet out, pretended like it never even happened, and everybody still got their job, even though the head of the party and his former campaign manager say somebody ought to be walking the plank here for putting his wife in that situation.
In fairness to Trump, though, he's bigger than the party. So he doesn't answer to Rance Priebus or whatever how you pronounce his first name. And that's why his thing is Mitt Romney, Bushes, you don't want to be part of my convention. Fine, you're the past, stay in the past. Real story here as it relates to the discipline of an elected official. I won't say which governor, I won't say which communication aide. I'm in a room a few years ago in Albany, and there's a rally going on and a reception, top donors, I won't say which party. And the governor says, oh wow, true story, oh wow, 15, 20 of my friends are down there, I'm gonna go say hello. We're above looking down. The governor's person said, sit down, governor. You're not going anywhere. It's not in your best interest to interact with them. The governor, looking sheepishly, sat down, and it was very embarrassing for a reporter to be in the room, and a communications director told him to shut up and sit down. A sitting governor. Governor Pataki. I won't say which. I won't say which Zenyamuka.
Yeah, it took a lot to drag that out of you there, Tom.
That wasn't a hard guess.
Yes, it wasn't. But the point is, somebody said.
Someone said no.
No.
Someone said no.
Right, but see, but with Trump, you got to understand his psyche. In his mind, it's all about him. I'm telling you what I know for a fact.
But he was made to look bad last night because people didn't do their homework and people didn't get
Agreed.
their act together. And on the
Agreed.
front page of the Times today,
Agreed.
they're showing those pictures,
Yes.
offensive stuff. It just doesn't seem to be structured. All right, we're going to, as we go out, we're going to go to the roll call. They're at the state of Louisiana right now. We'll be back in a little.